Hello everybody, welcome to Monday Morning Must Knows. My name is Merlin Rothfield, and man, last week, boy, we had some wild moves because of those inflation numbers. You had CPI and PPI numbers not looking so good last week, and big numbers to the upside with regards to lumber and corn. This week we got some great stuff for you as well. Now, we've seen the US dollar sell off just a little bit recently, and we want to make sure that we capitalize potentially on some of those moves. Now, what are we going to be looking for? Well, one of those commodities is crude oil. Now, what's interesting from a technical perspective is crude oil has been making right about the same highs for quite some time. If you look at this chart, you can see this red line here showing us that it's been bouncing its head right against that, let's call it $67, $68 mark for crude oil. And this is on a weekly time frame. It hasn't been able to get above that since 2019. Now, if we zoom in a little closer, we can see that it's actually forming one of my personal favorite patterns. It's called an ascending triangle. Now, what this tells us is that price has been hitting its head on the upper supply zone, but it's been making higher lows and building strength, getting stronger and stronger. Now, with supply chain disruptions for crude oil, with a weakening dollar, there might be some opportunities for a breakout trade here on crude oil. So this will be something to keep an eye on for next week. Now, we'll shift our pace here a little bit. Normally, we keep the earnings for the very end, but I got some big stuff for the end. So we're going to do earnings right now. If you look at the earnings calendar, it's a lot quieter than it has been for the past few weeks. Only 194 companies reporting this week. Start things off very quietly on Monday with SoftBank, not a major one in the U.S., but certainly a big international bank. On Tuesday, we get some bigger names. We've got Walmart, Home Depot, Macy's, Baidu, and Take-Two Technologies. Wednesday brings us Cisco, Lowe's Brands, TJ Maxx, L Brands, and Keysight Technologies. In red, I'm highlighting all of the fashion retailers just so you get an idea of how many there are coming out this week. And these are just the major names. Thursday, that gets you Applied Materials, Palo Alto Networks, Kohl's, Ross Stores, and Ralph Lauren. On Friday, we've got John Deere and The Buckle. You notice all the red companies, those are your earnings for retailers. Now, let's look at our final piece here, which is going to be manufacturing. Oh yes, all the goods and services that these economies around the world are building. It's critical because we need to have manufacturing for our economies to grow. Now, what we're going to be looking at is the PMI, which is Purchasing Managers Index. This tells us things like employment, production, new orders, prices, deliveries, and inventories. And what they do is they go to some of these manufacturing companies, they go about 800 or 900 depending on which country it's in, and they ask them, what do you think about all these different issues to get a result? And what's interesting about next week is there are a lot of them being reported on Friday, the 21st of May. What do we have? Well, let's start things off at 3:15 in the morning. That's Eastern Standard Time. We have French flash manufacturing PMI numbers coming out. And you're thinking, what's next? Well, let's just throw on a little Germany at 3:30 in the morning. Then we've got the whole EU at 4 o'clock in the morning. So if you're trading that euro dollar, it's going to be a very volatile time between 3:15 and 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the euro. But that's not all. We've got the British pound reporting at 4:30 in the morning. So if you're trading the British pound, be careful there. But it's not over quite yet. We've got the US dollar, and that's going to be 15 minutes into the U.S. market open, which adds a nice little element of volatility. That's at 9:45 Eastern Standard Time for the U.S. flash manufacturing PMI numbers. Now, any one of these pieces of data could have a significant move or no effect at all. We just don't know. What's really important is that you pay attention to your specific asset that you're trading, whether that's the euro, the British pound, or even trading U.S. equities or the U.S. dollar at the time that these announcements come out, because they can create some serious waves. That's it for Monday Morning Must Knows. We'll see you next week.